and shared progress. As such, this visit is to aligning on Kenya's political and socio-economic priorities. So immensely grateful for China's timely humanitarian support. And the discussion we are going to have is how we can have a preferential trade agreement that gives Kenya preferential access, the same way we have AGOA that gives duty-free, quota-free access for our goods to the US. The discussion we're going to have is that of a duty-free, quota-free access to the Chinese market for our products.
Now, Tanzanian police denied two senior opposition figures on Thursday. The party said as they drove to a court hearing for party leader Tundu Lissu, who has been charged with treason. Police denied Chadema Party Deputy Chairperson John Heche and Secretary General John Mnyika as they headed to Kisutu Magistrate Court in Dar es Salaam. Party spokesperson Breda Rupia said the reason for their detention was not immediately clear. Lissu, the runner-up in a presidential election in 2020, was charged with treason this month over what prosecutors said was a speech calling on the public to rebel and disrupt the October election. He was not allowed to enter a place on a treason charge. The charges against Lissu have placed President Samia Suluhu Hassan's human rights record under the spotlight as she seeks for re-election. Hassan has said the government is committed to respecting human rights. Now, Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwandan-backed M23 rebels have agreed to halt fighting in the east of the country until peace talks mediated by Qatar reach their conclusion. It is the latest truce deal since the rebels stepped up on offensive in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where authorities say 7,000 people have been killed since January. Davis Karani reports.
The DRC and M23 on Wednesday jointly announced to work towards peace following more than a week's talks, which they described as frank and constructive conversations. Last month, Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi and his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame also reaffirmed their commitment to unconditional ceasefire in a surprise meeting in Doha.
My interest is a survival, to live in a country without persecution.
From both the UN and the US, the decades-long conflict has intensified since January when M23 staged an unprecedented offensive, seizing Goma and Bukavu, Eastern Congo's two largest cities, and sparking fears of a wider regional war. DRC Congo accused Rwanda of arming the M23 and sending troops to support the rebels in the conflict.
Why are they fighting? Why do they have arms? Is another question. It is also a simple question. They exist because they have been denied their rights as citizens of that country. They are called Tutsis of Rwanda.
What's the fighting in the DR Congo all about? Time will tell. Davis Karani, GBS Ambassador News, DRC Congo.
Ghana's Chief Justice, Gertrude, has been suspended following 3 misconduct petitions in a move that has sparked political controversy and divided public opinion, Jeff Abuki reports.
This marks the first time in the nation's history that a sitting Chief Justice has been suspended. President John Mahama's administration claims the suspension is necessary to allow a fair investigation. However, opposition leaders accuse the president of interfering in the judiciary and attempting to install judges sympathetic to the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC. Former Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah condemned the action as, open quotes, the biggest assault on the judiciary in the nation's history, close quotes, citing procedural missteps, including the delayed delivery of the petitions to the Chief Justice. Tohono, who was appointed in 2023 as Ghana's third female Chief Justice, has not publicly responded to the allegations. The controversy has intensified the debate over judicial independence in Ghana as the nation awaits the outcome of the investigation. This is Jeff Abuki, GBS TV News, Nairobi.
Tensions are rising in Ivory Coast just months before a crucial presidential election in October. Opposition leader Tidjane Thiam, once seen as a front-runner, has been disqualified from the race over a citizenship technicality, despite renouncing his French nationality earlier this year. Now, he is vowing to fight on as his party rejects the ruling of its impact on democracy. Here is more on the unfolding political standoff. Elvis Moyodi.
Ivory Coast opposition leader Tidjane Thiam is refusing to step aside, despite a court ruling that barred him from running in the upcoming presidential election. The decision based on his former citizenship cannot be appealed, even though Thiam officially renounced it in February to meet eligibility rules. A former government minister and ex-CEO of Credit Suisse, Thiam was widely seen as a strong challenger.
Africans need to have the right and the possibility to choose freely who should lead them. That's all we're asking for.
With tensions rising ahead of the October vote, Thiam wants that blocking legitimate candidates could reignite unrest in a nation still healing from past conflict.
It's not for the government to decide who runs opposition parties or who gets to run against them, and that's what we're trying to do. And I really want the same criteria and demands to be put on Africa as any other part of the world. I don't accept the shrugging and saying this is Africa. I've been getting calls, well, what did you expect? Of course, they were going to block you through dubious means, but I want Africa to be respected, and I'm going to fight so that that type of governance disappears.
As Ivorians look to the future, the October election may become less about who wins and more about whether the system truly allows them to choose. Elvin Muyodi, GBS News.
The ambassador will take a short break. We'll be right back with more as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics.
Topic of discussion leo is a hustle culture. Hustle culture, and this is working smart versus working hard.
Working hard is where nina hustle. I'm working like a donkey.
Unaweza pata maybe ulisoma, yes, maybe kumaliza shule, maybe hii inahitaji maybe diploma, maybe ulifika certificate level. So I feel peer knowledge inachangia sana.
Yes,
watu kukua kwa informal.
You have to like plan. You also have to delegate, and it's also sometimes about convenience. What is convenience for you?
Tunaweza work smart hata kama ni kwa informal jobs. Tuki-apply hiyo working smart, we can do something. Si lazima tu ikuwe ni kazi ile uko chini.
I'm picking a dare. Okay. What? Call your mom or dad and sing the chorus of their favorite song loudly. Mama Vanessa,
just a sing.
We are live on TV. I need to.
Which TV?
GBS TV. I'm on the Youth Hub and they want me to sing you a song. I've been dared to sing your favorite song. So
no, don't sing that one, man.
No.
Sing yours.
No, I will sing a nice one. I know many of your songs.
Sing daddy's song.
I sing daddy's song, fine.
Loudly, please.
I love you.
Shout.
You're my baby. I love you. You're the best. Bye, mommy. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I go.
My name is Tracy Otonde. I'm Miss County Nairobi, and I'm also Miss Embakasi East. Modeling is an art by virtue of the model and by virtue of the designers. That's if we look at modeling in terms of pageantry, you're showcasing yourself. You yourself is a work of art. You're a work of art, and you're showcasing everything that's in you and within you. And by virtue of the designer is because you keep showcasing the attires that they are made for you, and you have to look the part for you to be able to showcase what the designer was picturing. So yeah, modeling is an art.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to The Ambassador as we break down the developments for you and get the bigger picture on what's happening globally. Now, a water spring in the occupied West Bank is a source of water for herders and their livestock. This spring is not just a vital water source. It's also a point of deep contention as both Israeli settlers and Palestinian residents seek access to its waters. However, tensions are rising over who has the right to use this resource, with growing concerns about violence and land encroachment. Abdihamid Ali has more.
The Ain al-Uja spring in the occupied West Bank has become a focal point in the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Israeli settlers use the spring as a place of leisure.
All these brothers and sisters, all these Jews here, and we should be in all the places where we can go and spend time.
Yet the situation tells a different story for local Palestinians, especially the Bedouin communities and farmers. These groups argue their access to the spring is restricted as Israeli settlers expand on their grazing land. Tensions are intensifying, with a recent UN report revealing that some Palestinians seeking access to the spring have faced physical assault, distracting their ability to sustain their livelihoods.
Honestly, it is the settler who come here and annoy us. They want to expel us from this land. We are surrounded by people like that. No one can come to help us.
The West Bank seized by Israel in the 1967 war and is considered by the international community, including the UN, as part of a sovereign Palestinian territory. Settlers are considered illegal and have violated the territorial integrity of the Palestinians.
It's our land. Other peoples came here, they conquered, they left. We went to exile, and now we came back home. And there are the other people who are here in the neighborhood, but they're here, they're visitors. This is our land. If they want to live here peacefully with us, okay. But if anybody wants to kill us and wants us to leave here, they're the ones who have to leave.
Israeli officials have discussed the annexation of the territory. The Palestinians in the occupied West Bank live with uncertainty under the illegal Israeli occupation. This is Abdihamid Ali, GBS News.
A massive wildfire continues to burn in New Jersey Pinelands, with officials warning it could become the largest in 20 years. The Johns Road wildfire has burned 12,500 acres and is 40% contained. With the cause of the fire still under investigation, crews are working to control the blaze, which is expected to burn for several more days. Triza Chengo has more.
Fire continues to burn in New Jersey's Pinelands, with officials stating it could become the largest wildfire in the state in 20 years. The Johns Road wildfire has burned approximately 12,500 acres and is 40% contained as of Wednesday afternoon.
As of 4 p.m. this afternoon, we are at 40% containment, 12,500 acres consumed. Throughout the day, the Forest Fire Service has been addressing lots of resident calls for hot spots and smoke flare-ups. They've been mopping up and working around the perimeter. As you've seen, we continue to work using our air fleet with bucket drops using the helicopter. That will continue until the darkness occurs this evening. Throughout the day, the Fire Investigation Task Force has been working on the origin and kind of cause of this fire, which obviously remains under investigation.
Bill Donnelly, the chief of New Jersey's Forest Fire Service, emphasized the region's extreme fire risk, explaining that the state's pine barrens are the most volatile wildfire fuels in the country. In right conditions, with low humidity and high winds, the fire can spread rapidly and cause catastrophic damage.
You guys have to remember, New Jersey has some of the most volatile wildland fuels in the entire country. Everybody's used to seeing California and things like that chaparral that burns up them hills and goes crazy. Well, these pine barrens out here are the exact same type of fuel model. They are just like having napalm spread across the ground. It's, on the right conditions, when humidity's low and fires become wind-driven, it's just, you can have catastrophic fires as a result of those conditions coming together.
The blaze continues to burn and is expected to rage for several more days, with the hopes for relief arriving later this week, when rain is predicted for Friday and Saturday. The fire is no longer threatening populated areas, but the cause remains under investigation as authorities continue to monitor the situation as efforts to contain the fire remains ongoing. Triza Chengo, GBS News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in South Africa for talks with President Cyril Ramaphosa on bilateral cooperation and efforts to end Russia's war in Ukraine. Zelensky has been trying to show up international support for Kyiv's war effort amid growing pressure from United States President Donald Trump, who said last week that Washington could walk away if there was no clear progress on a peace deal soon. Commenting on the visit, Zelensky posted on X that he would meet Ramaphosa as well as other political and civil representatives. South Africa, which maintains good relations with Russia, has remained neutral in the conflict, which began in 2022. Ramaphosa held a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, stating on X that the two leaders had affirmed, and I quote, strong bilateral relations, end of quote, and a commitment to work together towards a peaceful resolution in the war. Zelensky on Wednesday said there needed to be an immediate, full, and unconditional ceasefire with Moscow, and repeating that Ukraine did not roll out any format to talk. Russia launched a combined missile and drone attack in Ukraine. The Ukrainian capital witnessed fires, shattered buildings, and significant casualties, with 9 confirmed dead and more than 70 injured. Meanwhile, reports emerged that United States President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky clashed over efforts to end the ongoing war in Ukraine. Here is more on the scene.
Ukrainian officials reported widespread devastation in Kyiv following a series of Russian missiles and drone strikes. 9 people were killed and 70 are suffering from injuries, including 6 children. Emergency crews continues to search for survivors as fire rages across the city. Authorities say that 40 separate fires have been reported, including in garages and administrative buildings. Trump and Zelensky clashed again. The disagreement between the two leaders comes as part of an ongoing effort to broker a peace deal, with US officials proposing a freeze on territorial lines and a diplomatic settlement aimed at ending the conflict.
I will say that I think Russia is ready, and a lot of people said Russia wanted to go for the whole thing. And I think we have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky, and I hope that Zelensky, I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky. So far it's been harder, but that's okay. It's all right.
However, the US proposal has sparked significant controversy, especially over the recognition of Crimea as part of Russia. Zelensky has firmly rejected this, reiterating that Ukraine will never cede Crimea.
Ukraine does not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There is nothing to talk about it.
Trump's view that the territory was lost years ago and should not be part of the discussion. The breakdown in talks has raised concerns that Ukraine may be pressured into concessions that undermines their sovereignty.
The president's frustrated. His patience is running very thin. He wants to do what's right for the world. He wants to see peace. He wants to see the killing stopped. But you need both sides of the war willing to do that. And unfortunately, President Zelensky seems to be moving in the wrong direction.
As peace talks continue, the stakes remains high, with both countries and international community caught in the complex web of diplomatic, territorial, and military challenges that shows no signs of resolution. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
India and Pakistan are facing increased political diplomatic strain following a deadly militant attack in Kashmir that left 26 people dead. In response, India has announced a series of severe measures, including the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty and the closure of border crossing. This attack, which targeted tourists in the Pahalgam area, comes amid already fragile relations following India's 2019 revocation of Kashmir's semi-autonomous status. Teresa Chengo has more.
An attack on the tourist town of Pahalgam has sparked widespread outrage across India. The assault, which left several victims dead, was claimed by the separatist group of Kashmir Resistance Front and is the worst civilian attack in the area in nearly 2 decades. In response, India has called for swift justice, with many citizens demanding that the perpetrators be found and punished.
The entire country is angry and wants to see revenge, like our Prime Minister retaliated in the past. We want the attackers to be found. Whoever carried out the attack has committed a grave crime. Those who executed the attack will not be spared.
The Indian government has retaliated by closing a border crossing with Pakistan, suspending a vital river water sharing treaty, and scaling back diplomatic ties, including expelling Pakistani diplomats from New Delhi.
The Indus Waters Treaty of 1960 will be held in abeyance with immediate effect until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism. The integrated checkpost Atari will be closed with immediate effect. Those who have crossed over with valid endorsements may return through that route before 1 May 2025. Pakistani nationals will not be permitted to travel to India under the SAARC visa exemption scheme visas. Any SVAS visas issued in the past to Pakistani nationals are deemed cancelled. Any Pakistani national currently in India under SVES visa has 48 hours to leave India.
India also plans to withdraw its advisors from Pakistan, signaling a significant deterioration in bilateral relations.
The defense, military, naval and air advisors in the Pakistani High Commission in New Delhi are declared persona non grata. They have a week to leave India. India will be withdrawing its own defense, navy and air advisors from the Indian High Commission in Islamabad. These posts in the respective high commissions are deemed annulled. PCS reviewed the overall security situation and directed all forces to maintain high vigil. It resolved that the perpetrators of this attack will be brought to justice and their sponsors held to account.
Pakistan has expressed condolences for the victims, and its National Security Council is set to meet to formulate a response. The attack highlights the long-standing conflict between India and Pakistan over Kashmir, a dispute that has been ongoing for over 80 years. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
Now, more unfolding news. Italy has launched a comprehensive security operation as Rome prepares for Pope Francis' funeral on Saturday, with thousands of pilgrims and foreign delegations expected to gather. Police and drones are ensuring safety around the Vatican and key areas of the city. Here is more on this story, but we will bring more story of the same, the developing story on the same now. And that's all for today. With me, your Ambassador Paul Mathenge on the Ambassador 1 p.m. Follow all of our stories at GBS TV. It's updated through the day. We meet every Thursday and Friday as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company.
Everywhere, GBS.